Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
Apparently, more people watched Madam Web than watched Daredevil versus Wolverine, at least when you're comparing Netflix to Disney Plus viewership.
Yeah, there's a couple things here actually we're going to look at. It depends who you ask, because it's according to Nielsen data, but according to, I'm assuming Disney's data, they got 19 point some million in the first 6 days of Deadpool Wolverine on Disney Plus, and they're saying that they didn't even hit 16 million for 2 weeks. So there's definitely a difference in opinion. It's also going to depend on how you look at how Disney counts a number and Netflix counts a number, and there's a bunch of different things here. If I'm being honest, I don't think Madam Web is more popular than Deadpool and Wolverine.
No, and if it did have more viewers, I would just like to point out that Netflix has a lot more subs than Disney Plus.
More than twice. I have other reasons to mention too. So before we get into it any further.
Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
I forgot Madam Web existed already.
Yeah,
did videos on it, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, moved on to the next thing.
People were sharing this, and according to, like I said, again, it's according to Nielsen. Now, you have to remember Nielsen, their numbers are from internal metrics. Like, they have people that are, they're reporters, you know, that they track their watches and what they watch and stuff. And if you're not part of that group, they have to just guess. They don't really know. So, yes and no. Plus the fact that, again, Disney reported that Daredevil and Wolverine did over 19 million in the first 6 days. I'm assuming according to their numbers.
According to Disney numbers,
right.
Disney's magical numbers, which are way higher than normal numbers. But
right, you have
Disney
to also
math. Question
it because it's Disney self-reporting. But it's also weird. It's hard to compare Netflix and Disney anyway, because Disney counts, like, I guess one of their view counts, like the total, like the total amount of watch time divided by the runtime of the movie or something to get. So it doesn't necessarily mean that that's a view.
Right.
And then Netflix does, if you watched it for 2 minutes, anything for 2 minutes, they consider it as intent to watch and they count it as a view.
Okay.
They used to do 70%, but now it's 2 minutes now. So they're both very different.
Intent to watch. Well, yeah, because they autoplay stuff, right? All these streaming services now, they
autoplay for 2 minutes,
stuff.
they consider it a view. So it's like apples to oranges on the metrics too. But a couple things here. Madam Web did absolute dog shit at the theater, at box office. Yeah. It did like $100 million globally. I mean, still better than Snow White did in America. But no, I guess not. But, Snow White actually did better globally than Madam Web. So that tells you how much of a bomb it was, because we know Snow White bombed. But Deadpool and Wolverine did like $1.3 billion. So you have that whole thing going on too. If people wanted to see Deadpool and Wolverine, they probably went to the movie theater to watch it.
Yes, that is true. And really, at the end of the day, which is worth more? Somebody that buys a $10 ticket or somebody that's just watching it, for $10 a month on your streaming service?
And this is also for the first 2 weeks. We don't know what the numbers are, after 2 weeks. It could be that they're significantly higher than Madam Web now. But a lot of people went to the theater to see it. A lot of people don't have Disney Plus.
Yeah.
A lot of people have Netflix. So you have those two things at play here. And I just think that it's just about the matter of people like Netflix has twice as many people, but they might have watched it because they didn't want to pay for it, but they'll watch it on Netflix because it's considered free as part of their subscription they pay anyway. And Deadpool Wolverine, people already went to the theater to see it, or they just don't watch Disney Plus.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Because what they'll do, I guarantee you, that Disney, when Snow White does hit streaming, they're gonna be like, it's the most streamed movie on Disney Plus today.
Probably. They always do this. It's like, it broke records for, 2025 in the springtime, on a Sunday at 3.
More middle-aged
press release.
More middle-aged men watch Snow White on Disney Plus than any other Disney princess movie.
Yeah, or something like that, And the thing is, what they're going by, it was on Twitter is where I saw it, and what they're going by was Nielsen's ratings. And again, it's an account called What's on Netflix. And Nielsen isn't exactly, like I said, it's 42,000 places they track. So if those people watched it, that's what they count. That's not very much. It's like a cross section. It's not super indicative of people at large.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of other stuff that did better though.
Yeah, I know. This is Sony's releases on Netflix.
Yeah. I mean, oh,
But
Craven
not
the
a whole
Hunter.
lot did better than Madam Web, which is weird to me. Or Craven too. I'm like, because I think people just didn't want to go to the theater, but they were curious to see how bad it actually was.
That's what I think it is. I think what happens is when a movie gets a reputation for being absolutely god awful, people will try it just to see how god awful it is, but they're not going to pay for it. If it's included with their Netflix or their Disney Plus or whatever, they'll watch it. So I 100% believe when Snow White finally does hit Disney Plus, it will be the most streamed thing probably that month, because
Probably.
people are going to watch it just to see how god awful it actually is.
Yeah, to see if the dwarves really look as bad as you thought or whatever.
Right.
And you have to remember too, like with a theatrical release, people pay for tickets, as you mentioned. People aren't going to just watch it 2 minutes and leave. I mean, it happens sometimes, but most people are going to stay the whole way through Daredevil and Wolverine. They're not going to get up and walk out. Very small percentage. Meanwhile, people might turn on, Madam Web on Netflix, watch 5 minutes, say, nope, I'm out, and shut it off, and they still count it as a watch. But
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that they made money on it because they didn't probably have it on there long enough to run ads, very many. Or it's just within your subscription you're already paying.
Yeah, that's just it. And it's yeah. So really it's kind of like we talked about this with webcomics when we did webcomics, where a lot of people were bragging about the numbers of views that they got per month on their website. Like, oh my God, guys, we got, 5 million views this month on our website for our webcomic, our free webcomic. And it's like, yeah, and that does translate into a little bit of ad revenue, but you're better off having 5,000 people buy a book than 5,000 freeloaders,
Well,
basically.
It's again down to the fact that a lot of those numbers can be bought and faked. I mean, I know with webcomics especially, people are really cheating the heck out of it. I know with YouTube, there are people that cheat their numbers and they buy stuff, and there are definite tells for that. Even people think there aren't.
There are. If you know what to look for, you can kind of see it. But what they count on a lot of times is, in the case of webcomics, a lot of these people were trying to get book deals or whatever, and they were trying to
artificially inflate.
Yeah. So they were getting book deals, they were getting animation deals, whatever. And I do believe in many cases, those numbers were not 100% legit. And we saw it with cartoonists being promoted by, different literary agencies and stuff.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yes,
when one person, that last name rhymes with Evenson, had like an account where there was only like, they didn't have any followers. Then like 2 weeks later, they had an account with like 30K followers all of a sudden.
Yeah, there are a lot of games they're played, and really it just comes out because they make these decisions in Hollywood and in publishing and stuff basically just based on the numbers. There was a thing. Now we're going down a side tangent here, but that's fine because there's not a whole lot to talk about Madam Web. But like it was a shitty movie, and now it's a shitty movie on Netflix. There was somebody, I forget which actor or actress it was, that said that because they only had 900,000 followers on Instagram, that they couldn't even get auditions or whatever. They had to have 1 million. So that was
I do know that came into play. I know people have fake stuff because how many social media followers you have, and it's like, well, that's not indicative of people actually reading and watching what I do. That just means I don't spend all my time on social media, and it was relevant. And if you didn't have a certain number, they weren't as interested in you. So people were incentivized to cheat their number.
Yeah, and in the case of like YouTube and stuff, I think people now here's where it gets tricky because there's a lot. You'll notice that there aren't as many sponsorships as there used to be, and the reason is now the sponsors have wisened up and they actually look for your metrics, your traffic sources, to make sure that they're actually, because I think they're getting hoodwinked into giving out sponsorship deals to people that had a lot of fake views. So now they actually go in and vet it. But I think it's kind of the same with streaming and stuff too, is I think they want to crow about the numbers. And then it's probably a lot of people being like, oh, hey, maybe we can greenlight some more shitty Spider-Man villain movies. If, Madam Web actually got millions of views on the back end on Netflix, we'll just.
Yeah. But again, like I said, it's Nielsen's, because Netflix doesn't really, I mean, I don't know if it was in the top 10s or anything. It must have been, at least for Sony, but that's Sony. That list you showed was Sony movies only. I don't know what it did compared to other things. And that was after 2 weeks. It doesn't mean it didn't drop off a cliff afterwards.
I'm sure once the people that wanted to watch the train wreck watch the train wreck, they don't want to watch it again.
And that's just, I'm not trying to defend Disney or anything here, but in this situation, I call bullshit because I don't know if Disney was telling the truth about the amount of people they said that according to their metrics, it was 19 point some million in 6 days, which I honestly probably believe because it was something very popular. Actually, I thought it would do better than that. But if you're going by Nielsen, right away, I'm already knowing it's limited data.
Yeah, Nielsen. My mom used to, I think I mentioned this before. My mom used to work for Nielsen. She used to work for Nielsen back in the 80s, early 90s. And back then, anyway, you had Nielsen households that were a small sampling. And you have to take that in consideration. It's usually a small sampling. When
there's a limited number of what they have. But, you have the whole thing, too, with Netflix is more than twice the size of Disney as far as global subscribers are concerned. Disney Plus actually lost 700,000 subscribers after the last earning call. I mean, before the earning call data, from the end of last year until the report, they had dropped 700,000 subscribers. So they're like at 124 point some million global subscribers. And I don't know if Hulu's rolled into that or not. It might be. I'm not sure. But I'm just like, Netflix by default is going to, get more views on something, even if it's shitty, because it's they have twice as many people, more than twice as many people as Disney Plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you're going to be fair about the whole situation.
This guy here has mentioned the R rating too, which I think is kind of like.
Oh, yeah. That also plays into it as well.
Yeah. Because there's going to be an age gate on Disney, or there should be, but I could just see like some mom or grandma just being like, "Oh, look, it's a Spider-Man movie with a Spider Girl. Sit down, Jimmy, and watch it." Yeah.
Watch this. You have the age gate and stuff too, but I do not believe for 1 minute Madam Web actually legitimately beat out Deadpool and Wolverine. And if it did on streaming, I do think it's just morbid curiosity on people's parts because they wanted to see how bad it really was. And even if they watch 2 minutes, it counts as a view.
Yeah, and that's kind of what back to YouTube just real quick. They're kind of doing that with shorts now too. They're like so now they have multiple metrics for shorts. It used to be you had shorts that people meant to watch and shorts that people watched by accident because they were scrolling through the shorts and they really didn't want to watch it. But oops, there's a second that counts as a view.
Right. Yeah. So you have to know what views count as too. And so it's not across the board same, which you think they should have like some kind of set metric for this.
Right.
It's all about how you're going to manipulate the data to make it look bigger and better than it was.
Well, that's what they're trying to do.
About.
Everything's about that. And it's all about people saving their jobs and trying to get money for their next thing. And that's
Madam Web did 100 million, like 149, like 100.49 million or something total. Total global. Bad. It's bad.
Yes.
Deadpool did like 13.3 times more,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and they're pointing out here too. Here's the chart. This is streaming services by subscribers in the world. Netflix has 300 as of December last year had 301 million. Disney Plus had 124 million. So
it's more than twice what Disney
even
Plus
Amazon.
has.
Yeah, even Amazon has way more. So
yeah.
Anyway, there we go, guys.
I just thought it was funny.
It is funny. It's like it's the magic of math. It can say or do whatever you want it to do, depending on who you are. So we're gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.